Hi guys, it's Retro Souls 86 here. Time for an update. This is for both YouTube and Rumble. First, my Rumble viewers. Hi, new to the platform. I have so many videos on my YouTube backlog that I'm re-uploading to Rumble, plus additionally new content. I look forward to meeting and conversing with each one of you, and I'm very happy to be here. For YouTube, an update. I've made so many videos updating, and I've like tossed them away because I didn't like the content at some point, or I just forget to upload them, which I'm bad about. I used to upload them as soon as I record them, then I'm like, oh, I got stuff to do. Come back like a week later. Oh yeah, well I'll just record a new one. Anyway, all right, so back. It's been a long time since my last update. I don't remember how long it was. But as you can see, my Labrador. This is Baba, also known as Taz and Leon. Alright, it's actually his full name is Taz Leon Scott Kennedy Overmeyer. Anyway, if you see a little bit of his fur missing, we're dealing with fleas, and we're having a hell of a time with them. We've tried Frontline. Frontline didn't do jack squat. We tried this spray that seemed to work somewhat, and we've been giving them baths to try to help wash away whatever ones are there. We're trying our best, but limited resources, which I'll explain why here in a minute. So back on September 16th, I think it was, I was injured. It was right around 10 o'clock at night, and I was working. I was moving one pallet. When I worked at Walmart, we had pallets of frozen product, and we would divvy it up to sections, different pallets for different sections of the aisles to give third shift a little bit of an easier time stocking it, because third shift was very short on people. And I was picking up one of these boxes and putting it on the breads pallet, which has like your bread, your frozen bread, your frozen whipped cream or Cool Whip, pies and stuff like that. I was putting one on there, and I went to turn, and this hasn't happened to me in probably close to 8 years. To preface that, this hasn't happened in close to 8 years. So, I went to turn, and my right leg didn't want to move. Instead, my knee popped out of its socket, shifted over, shifted back, and popped back in at the same time. And it hadn't happened to me in 8 years. So you don't really think about an injury that long ago. All I felt was this immense amount of pain and pressure, and I dropped like a sack of rocks. In 1 minute, I just dropped right to the floor. Not injuring any other part of myself, but I wouldn't wish that on even my worst enemy, because that is an immense pain that is just horrible to deal with. With that said, I didn't report the injury right away because I didn't feel like it was Walmart's fault. It wasn't Walmart's fault. It was my own crummy genetics. So I took a couple days off. Then it was coming up to my 2 days off that I have in a row, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I was a horrible night. I didn't get hardly any sleep because I could barely move my leg. I had a knee brace on it almost about 24 hours a day for about a month and a half, close to 2 months. because it's November 21st now, so it's a little bit past 2 months that it happened. It was about, I've only had the knee brace off for a couple weeks, so about a month and a half, give or take. No, I didn't go see a doctor because I knew exactly what was going on. It's happened before, and I recovered from it every time. Couldn't afford a doctor. They wanted to do a MRI. Even with the insurance that we had, it would have cost me $500. And I don't know about you, but I don't have $500 just sitting in my back pocket. we live paycheck to paycheck. I don't have $500 to spare. Just on MRI, which would have been nice, but at the same time, don't have the ability. I knew it'd get better, and it has gotten tremendously better. It's practically back to where it was. I no longer need a knee brace, and I just reapplied to get back into Walmart today. My former store manager understood exactly what was going on, and she completely understood. I told her I had to quit at the time because the program that allows us for us to take extended periods of absence, called Sedgwick, wanted me to have a doctor's note. Well, I didn't have a doctor at the time, so there was no way I could get a doctor's note, and that was the only other conclusion I could come up with, other than trying to work through it, which the job I was doing was very fast-paced, very hard on one's body, and I could not do it. There was just no possibility of me being able to do it. And that's not an understatement or a admission of self-deprecation or weakness. It's just I knew physically I wasn't going to be able to do that, not with that injury. In the past, it'd normally heal up in a day or two. It was fine. But I've learned as I've aged that is no longer the case. 39's a fun age. Yeah, 39's a fun age. So my wife offered to have me stay at home, be a stay-at-home, puppy dad, temporarily, until I could get better, and then we could decide where we would go from there. I petitioned for part-time or full-time. As long as I wear a knee brace, I don't think that should ever happen again. As long as I wear the knee brace at work, which is not something I want to do, but I'm not going through that again. If I go through that again, I'm done. I think I'm just done. And I liked Walmart. I liked the Walmart that I worked at. It's actually not a bad place. I mean, the shift that I was on was crap, but it wasn't the people's fault. It was the rule set and mindset that Walmart put behind the Cap 2 team. That you had to practically kill yourself to get things accomplished. And it was, I think, developed more of a mindset for someone in their late teens, early 20s, rather than a guy in his late 40s trying to do it. Although it was funny, I was outpacing all those kids and those young adults, which was hilarious to me. My bosses were all younger than me, which is funny to think about. But I impressed my store manager so much that she said, come back after 30 days if you're feeling up to it. Sadly, she transferred before the 30 days were up. But from what I understand, the new store manager is actually a very kind lady. So I talked to her. She talked to the human resources person today. I would like to get back to work. Granted, the money we have barely cuts it in terms of what we need. We do get our bills paid. We do get food. Although we've had to cut down some things, we discovered we could fill up a fridge for a lot less than what you think. Frozen those seamables veggies in a bag, God, they're godsend. Put in the microwave for a few minutes, you got a whole side done. Love it. I cook at night, and I've been recording. All I want is part-time, because I don't want to stress my body out too much anymore. My wife prefers full-time, which is fine. The job's not that far away either, so it's not a big deal. It's like a 15-20 minute drive, if that. That's going slow across town. But I'm doing all right now. Mentally, not as much, but physically I'm fine. I'm getting more and more tired because I've been sitting around most of the time, but that's to allow my knee to heal and get rest. And with winter approaching, I can't really run out and do a whole lot of exercise. Especially today because it's raining out today. I feel confident that I could go out and have a long walk if I really wanted to, though. But I'm eager to just at least do something part-time, earn some extra cash. Just enough to like fill up the gas tank, get some extra stuff, chip, soda. Like, I'm drinking bottled water now, which is not bad, but I kind of miss my soda. I miss my Dr. Pepper. Just saying. Just saying. And that's pretty much the health news. Otherwise, we're doing all right. I'm doing all right. I have made the permanent switch to Linux instead of Windows. I did this even before the Agionic or whatever update from the head of AI, who has pretty much stated that Windows is going to become an AI-driven web operating system with AI in every corner of the operating system, and you can't turn it off. It's going to be part of this. It's going to be the system. And I pretty much, I went away from it before that occurred. I just didn't feel comfortable there anymore. There are multiple reasons behind this. One, any update that they would have, you could reinstall programs that I previously said I don't want on my computer, like Clipchamp or DevHome or any of the number of different programs that the bloatware that comes with Windows 11 that I would get rid of and strip clean because I didn't really want it on my system because I never used it anyway. So what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? All right. You don't use a program, get rid of it. The whole Copilot thing didn't really bother me as much. I mean, if I needed to use it, I would use it. I mean, AI is great for search engines and stuff like that. I use Perplexity and ChatGPT if I need some answers quick instead of looking all around the internet and getting random clues. I mean, heck ChatGPT helped me, and Perplexity have been helping me configure one particular program, trying to get it to work in Linux. I mean, they've come up with some good ideas, but they didn't work out in the end. But it's an obscure problem. It's an obscure program for tracking retro achievements. And I've got it mostly working. It's just, it can open. So what the program does is you open it up, it tracks what achievements you're going through, and you can cycle through and switch whatever ones you want. You've seen me use it in previous videos and stuff. But the focus window, airplane. Interesting. But the focus window, it would first we had a Web 2 DLL error. I managed to fix that somehow by putting the loader in a different folder. I got it working. It would open up now, but it would be a pure white screen, nothing displayed. So that's where I'm sitting with that one. That's one I can tinker with. I've got it set up in a Windows, I think 11 virtual machine that I can use to capture it if I really need to. I'm not really chasing down achievement videos, not for a while, until I feel the urge to really do that. I was going to do a channel specifically based on retro achievements, but I put that on the back burner for right now. I want to get through recording enough content to get through 2027, and then I can make the time to design a banner and design a picture and get a template formed up and get everything set up. So I used to have a template up like I put my everything into, and that would be for display through OBS, and it ended up getting caught up in a hard drive that would no longer boot. It was completely corrupted because the power went out one day. Yeah, Windows security does a bang up job. And I'm finding out so much more stuff about Windows that makes me really confused and wonder why this company is going down such a anti-consumer route. And I've seen more and more and more videos of people switching to Linux. I mean, I found at least a dozen more in the last day of people switching. Because it's getting to a point where Windows isn't even Windows anymore. It's something completely different. Now, if it was back in the days of, like, say, Windows XP or Windows 7, I would probably still be on board, because I loved Windows 7. I loved Windows XP. Those were great operating systems. No spyware. It was just great to use. It was very consumer friendly. Now it's just all about telemetry and making more money and making more money. I mean, there's a certain route where capitalism just you gotta put the brakes on it. Sir, chill. But I went with a distribution known as Nobara Linux. It is based on... He squirms a lot. It's based on Fedora Linux, which is based on Red Hat Linux. Linux has one big problem that I think it will need to overcome. Hi, Leon. He likes to cuddle. It's that there's too many distributions out there to choose. I mean, anybody and their mom could make a Linux distro tomorrow if you really wanted to. Just change around a bunch of stuff, change around some different file types and different settings, and boom, you got a new OS. I went with Nobara Linux because everything for gaming and content creation is set up right out of the box. You just download OBS through their welcome message in the beginning when you start the computer, and OBS is set up. It even has vertical plugins and stuff if you want them. Atom multi-stream, set right up. Boom, taken care of. And I do like a Fedora's file structure. I have used Linux Mint in the past, and that was very, very comfortable, very easy to use. I would highly recommend anybody going from Windows to Linux to go to either Ubuntu, Zorin, or Mint. And all of them are really fantastic distributions, great for beginning use, although Ubuntu is probably the least like Windows, and Zorin and Mint would be the most like, because the Cinnamon desktop and KDE desktops, which are basically just how everything looks, like your file manager, your package manager, your menus and all that, looks the most similar to Windows. I dabbled in different ones before. I've tried Garuda, I've tried Bazite. I had some issues on Bazite. I just could not stand it. Or get around it, I should say. One instance where a program called Lutris, which is awesome program for using for configuring older games to work, connecting GOG, Epic Games, EA Launcher, heck, even BattleNet to work. It just stopped working. And I never had an update on the system since I installed it like 5 days in a row. And all of a sudden, just you could use the programs installed in Bazite, but just not, I mean, in Lutris, but not Lutris itself. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hop out of here. If a program's just going to randomly shut down, I don't feel comfortable. I've had issues with Navarre in the past, but this time everything seems to be running just smooth. Now, there are problems with Linux for certain programs with kernel level anti-cheat. Your popular ones to boot, like your Rainbow Six Siege, your Fortnite, your GTA 5, your until recently Apex Legends used to work on it, and then they yanked it, and so GTA 5 yanked their support for Linux, claiming we're all cheaters. It's kind of funny when you claim that everybody's a cheater, but all the cheating programs are written for Windows. Explain that one. That doesn't make sense. Kernel level anti-cheats have a problem with the Linux kernel because the Linux kernel updates quite frequently. With added support for newer hardware, for newer drivers for like Intel and AMD software. NVIDIA even, it works decently well on Linux. I'm running a 5070, RTX 5070, and it runs just fine. I haven't had a single issue with it. I was testing out, what was it? Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, and I was getting somewhere near 90 to 100 frames per second. I had the cap at 60, and it was saying consistent 60 at the absolute max with ray tracing. So, yeah, tell me your Linux is bad for gaming. It's fantastic. Every game you've seen on this channel was recorded in Linux. You'd never know it. Steam works great with their Proton compatibility layer. What was that, up to 90% of games on Steam now work in Linux, which is incredible. When I can tell you, I've tested out Ubuntu in the past. When was this? 2016? 2000? No. Or like 2013? 14 maybe? And you only have Wine back then. And it was not fun to try to get working. But now, I just installed, actually I have it right here, Math Blaster, the search for Spot for Windows 3.1. Windows 3.1. And this one, MechWarrior 2. Both physical CD-ROMs. Flawless. Installed them, ran them through Lutris to run in DOSBox. Worked just right off the snap. I have zero issues with them. They work flawlessly. All your old games will work in Linux. Either set up through Wine, which most of them are set up through Wine, or DOSBox if they run in DOS. can all be run through Lutris. I've got so many old games working now that just work flawlessly. Almost every game that every game I worked with on GOG has worked flawlessly. Steam games work flawlessly. Even AAA titles work flawlessly. Elden Ring actually loads faster in Linux than it did on Windows. I'm in shock that everything runs so well. I even had the randomizer working at one point. It screwed up now, and I don't know what I did wrong. I did something wrong with it. I don't know. Another problem to figure out. Something for me to tinker with. But, yeah, things are working out really nicely with this. I've been on Nobara I was on Mint for like a few weeks. And I wanted one that worked better for games, because Mint is more of a multi-purpose than it is strictly for gaming. Nobara is more geared towards gaming, so is Bazite, so is Pika OS, and Arch Linux if you have like the newest hardware. But Arch Linux is another beast I don't want to tackle right now. Maybe somewhere down the road I'll switch to Arch Linux. I don't know. I'm happy on Nobara though. Games work just pretty well flawlessly. Getting geared up for the winter. We got window installation kits. We're gonna have the wife set them up. The next day she has off because she's the best at it. I'm not that great at them. I've tried. And we'll get that set up. And that should help quite a bit, considerable bit. If I can get this part-time or even full-time gig at Walmart, it'll make a big difference too. Down where I am, we don't get a lot of snow, so I think max we got last winter was 2.5 inches, and they shut down the state. And that may seem a little crazy to you. I understand that. But it's because we don't have the facilities to deal with the snow and ice. And we're surrounded by mountains. And I don't know about you, I don't think I can drive ice and snow on a mountain. Especially when the infrastructure is not really built for it, like say in Colorado or Wyoming or Washington, where it's set up for that. I mean, you can use chains on your tires. You can, there's a lot more plows with ice or salt and stuff. But it's not really set up for that. So they do shut down like this surrounding area, especially because we have a lot of mountains around me. A lot of mountains. We're literally at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains range, which is really cool. It's beautiful to see. I can look out my front window and see a freaking mountain distance. Small mountain. Very small. But still, it's pretty. And the Walmart I worked at is literally surrounded with like several different small mountains. It's just amazing to see. But even if I don't get the job back at Walmart, I'll petition different fast food joints just for 2-3 days a week. See how my leg does with that, and push for more hours if that comes to it. See how that works out. Okay, on to the gaming portion that we're a half hour in. There's a lot to update you guys on. I'm sorry. I should do more periodic updates. I'm finishing up recording We're in the USA is Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world Carmen Sandiego is already up. It's not released yet, but let me see if I can bring this up here.
What do clone commandos
I love that freaking YouTube Shorts autoplay for reasons. As for content, right now, Dark Souls 2 Magic Only is coming out. I'm not getting a lot of traction for that, which I understand. There's so many Souls content creators out there. Dark Souls 2 is coming out, and then Dark Souls 3 is like right after that, and that will be the end of the Souls content on the channel for now. It's not getting as much traction as I would hope. And that's fine. I figured it was a hit or miss. It was worth a shot. But those will just be my comfort games, which is perfectly fine. I'm honestly just wanting to go for the achievements and then do fun runs for myself. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I just uploaded that series too. Oh, I've got videos for years coming out already, which is hilarious to me. I'm actually having to go like 4 pages back, 5 pages back. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. I have so much content coming out. Alright. During Dark Souls 3 Magic Only, you're going to see Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego. And that's like, I want to say it's around 50 videos. After Dark Souls 3 will be Heretic Remastered. They recently released Heretic Hexen as a combo with added in the DLC and all that. I didn't do the DLC, I just did the base game of Heretic for right now. I probably will end up going back and doing the DLC here pretty soon, actually. Because I really, really, really enjoyed that game. It was so much fun. Especially because I had never played past the shareware version, which is just the first of the 5 chapters of the game. So it was a fun endeavor. After Heretic, and still on Wednesdays we're going to have Carmen Sandiego, is Dot Hack Infection on PS2. That's a game I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And it was so much fun. I'd only ever gotten to like a certain point, I think, when you join the second server in that game, that I'd ever gotten to. Because I never grinded. Well, I grinded this time, and I actually got quite a bit further. I actually beat the game. It was quite a bit fun. Ooh, I'm sorry. After that will be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's going to be a Dark Side playthrough. Because I only ever did Dark Side, I think, the first time I played, because I just wanted to see what it would be like. And then I've usually gone Light Side every other time. But we did that. I'm going to go Light Side in 2 when I eventually do it. I don't know if I'll ever do it, because I don't really like 2 nearly as much as I liked 1. It's not because the game is bad. It's because I get stuck at a certain point every single time. And it's just frustrating as hell. After the finale of Carmen Sandiego will be Night Striker, which will be, I think it's a 5 or 6 episode series. And it's based off of an arcade game that I played when I was 4. So 35 years ago. Keep that in mind. The only memories I have is walking around Aladdin's castle. And it was one of 2 games that I really played. And it was X-Men, which I already did on the channel. Loved it. Had a blast doing it. And that's the arcade port of Night Striker. It was just a dark cabinet. I never remember what the name was at the top. It just had a joystick. And I would play it, get through a couple levels, and I thought it was great. I hunted for it for so many years. Then I finally realized it was Night Striker, and I was like, oh, I have to play. And it was so fun. So much fun. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Beat it within like 20 minutes. The glory of using an arcade emulator is you can have infinite tokens. So you can actually play through most of the games just fine and have a blast doing it. I have Alien versus Predator. I have so many arcade games. I actually need to go through and like catalog which ones I want to do and have like a list. After Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is going to be Mercenaries on PS2. Mercenaries is it's the very first one. World of Flames in Flames is so much fun. It's so frustrating. Oh my god. Almost got through the game when I was younger, and I got to a point, I think I was in the, I can't remember if I was in the Hearts or the Spade suite. Like the second or third chapter, third or fourth chapter of the game. And I'm pretty sure it was Hearts. I pissed off the Chinese faction so much that I couldn't do missions for them. They would shoot me on sight. Well, I discovered there was a cheat built into the game that would help reset your karma with them, I guess, or likability, as I call it in the game, to neutral. Well, if I had known that, I probably would have beat the game years ago. But I did beat it, and it was so much fun. I actually got to see all the missions. We did eventually just go to a point where I just wanted to get it done, and we just completed them. And finally beat the game, capturing the Ace of Spades. It was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. It was frustrating, and you're going to see me rage harder than I've raged in a long time. Oh, that was frustrating. And then after that is, or on Wednesdays, during that, we start Star Wars Battle. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Battle for Naboo. And this was an N64 game that was highly overlooked. It was a really fun game. I really, really enjoyed it. It takes place on Naboo during the first movie, Star Wars Episode 1. And it was just your regular soldier trying to get, free yourself from the Trade Federation. And there's several levels. You get all kinds of different vehicles. You get like 2 different speeders, 2 different starfighters, a patrol boat. It was fun. And the missions were a little frustrating sometimes, but it was built on the same exact engine as Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which, weirdly enough, was recorded in Linux. Yeah, a lot of you guys would know most of these games are ran through emulators through Linux. All your popular emulators are here. Your Dolphin, your PCSX2, your DuckStation, your Zemu, Ryujinx. But all of those are so much fun, and I'm so happy to bring those to you. I have one more already recorded. I've uploaded it, but I haven't scheduled it out yet. And that after Mercenaries, it's going to be, Mercenaries ends on March 22nd, 2027. I've had time on my hands. There's not really much to do during the day while my wife is at work. The house is clean. Although I'm still dealing with mice, which, as far as I understand from what my neighbors told me, are always going to be an issue. Because we live next to a lot of fields, and they just get in somehow. We're trying to prevent them from getting in, but all I can do is lay traps and catch them when they can. Make sure to scout out for nests and stuff. That's about the best thing you can hope for, to be honest. Oh, that's Vapor Rub. I saw a green cap. I'm like, what the hell is that? But after Mercenaries is going to be Lunar Silver Star Story Complete. God, I hate saying that whole sentence because it's like, but that took me 42 episodes to complete. It was a JRPG on the PlayStation 1, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I know I'm like, he moves around a lot. I know I'm like bearded up. I'm going to shave here shortly. Don't worry. I kept forgetting to do it. I'll do it I'm doing it today. And right now I'm recording where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego, which I'll fill the Wednesday slot. And that's, from what I finally read, like several different spots. Even the freaking AI told me wrong things. I finally looked it up on a wiki. 39 episodes. 39 villains I have to catch before Carmen. So it'll be probably 40. Which I thought, from what I read originally, oh, it's only 9 and you're done. I'm like, oh, okay, 9. That's not bad. No, 39. I'm like, that's a lot different than 9. Just saying. I'll have finishing recording that today, and then I don't know. What I do to pick my game, and it sounds silly. I'm very indecisive because I have literally that entire bookshelf and another one over here. This one has all the GameCube, Xbox 360, PS3, PS1, PS2, and that has all the Nintendo stuff, Atari, you can't see the top shelf, Atari Jaguar, Atari 2600, Sega Saturn, Sega CD. And behind my head in the jewel cases are Philips CDI, which I actually have the physical console. I know the emulator doesn't work super well because it requires a video chip. So I've actually looked into, since the games are so expensive, finding a way to burn the ROMs onto a disc to be read by a CDI, which a lot of people have said it does work quite well. Freaking squirrels. Squirrels jump around my roof and run around all the time here. But there's a few games on the seat. God, my nose is itching. The Philips CDI is something I'm looking forward to because it's an obscure console that hardly anybody remembers. Just like the Panasonic 3DO. I mean, those are a couple consoles I really want to do content for because they're so unknown. And probably have the most diehard fans. I mean, Link the Faces of Evil, Zelda the Wand of Gamelon, Zelda's Adventure. The trio of the forgotten Zelda games that weren't published by Nintendo. I'd love to do those because they seem like so much fun. I played around a little bit on them. They're not terrible. Do they play like other Zelda games? No. They play like your basic side-scroll adventure, more or less. But they're very, very difficult. But it seems like it would be fun to do. Then there's some other ones like Lost Eden. I actually have the physical disc for that one as well. God damn. My nose is itching. Bothering me like crazy. And I have so many games on my computer to do. Even my youngest son told me, you're never going to run out of content. I'm like, no, I'll probably be like dead and like have content for like 12 years coming out. And then all of a sudden it just stops. What happened? He died like 12 years ago. He just had a video release Wednesday. Yep. Which I find hilarious. And yeah, I've literally got Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays content coming out through, at the current moment, scheduled March 24th, 2027. I'm hoping to get all of 2027 done and then take some serious stock of what I want to do going forward. I mean, do I come up with content for like Tuesdays and Thursdays? Do I just keep going to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is, 3 videos a week is pretty good. Do I start streaming? I don't particularly care to myself. And that's not saying streaming is bad. Nobody ever comes to watch. And I hear it all the time, just keep streaming, you'll get followers. I'm like, yeah, but how much time do I have to waste devoting to it before it would pay off? Is it worth it? Is the time put in going to be warranted in the amount that I would get back? In terms of support, in terms of followers, in terms of enjoyment, monetary. I mean, I'd love to be a full-time content creator. That would be my dream. But right now, this is just a hobby or something to keep myself busy. I mean, I do put serious effort into these games, so. And I'm sure you guys see that. I do put serious effort into these. It's not like I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll just walk over here. I put serious effort into these games. And I really hope that shows. I put a lot of love into these games. Because these are the games I grew up with. I don't want them to be forgotten. I don't ever want these games to be forgotten. Because not every game has to be a Fortnite or a Warzone or a World of Warcraft or an Expedition 33 or an Elden Ring. It can be something quirky like NHL 95 or Mercenaries or Battle for Naboo. I mean, these games are fun. They're enjoyable if you just give them a shot. And I have rambled on for dang near an hour. Holy cow. Like I said, I had a lot to update you guys on and stuff. I'll be alright now. I plan on making more content showing off the viability of Linux for gamers shortly. Because a lot of people don't realize there are a lot of multiplayer games that can be played on Linux. A lot of them with anti-cheat support, including the Halo series, the Master Chief Collection, Halo Infinite, the Finals, Star Wars The Old Republic, Mabinogi, if you run it through Lutris. Just for compatibility. Works just fine. Smite. Dota 2. A lot of them out there. And the more of us that join Linux, the more we're going to force those developers to acknowledge that Linux gamers exist, and you should just toggle that little box on there to let us play. And we'll buy and play your content. That's enough rambling for today. I thank you guys so much for all your love, for your well wishes, for your kindness. There'll be more content coming on YouTube and Twitch, or YouTube and Rumble, shortly. Like I said, I'm going to start taking more series from YouTube, importing them over, so you guys have the full catalog as well as on YouTube. Same name on both. Been getting a lot of love over on Rumble, which I appreciate and I greatly love. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next update.